Hi, my name is Catherine Black, and I spent my semester volunteering with the Good Samaritan Ministries in Johnson City. We worked with the low income and homeless population in our area, and I just want to share with you guys how that experience affected me and the things I've learned throughout it. The Good Samaritan Ministries was founded by Sam Tomlin in 1985. He really just had a heart for those suffering from poverty in Upper East Tennessee, and he wanted to make a difference. So he developed this organization to just help out all our low income in any way that he can. He also paired up with other organizations so that if the Good Samaritan couldn't help in the best way, they could refer clients to another organization who could help better. So like I said, the population that Good Sam serves is homeless and low income individuals. Some of the causes of low-income families and homelessness is unemployment rates and economic condition. A lot of times we see clients who just came from a bad family. They have terrible home experiences. They could be suffering from disability, or they could just have trouble finding a job due to their education levels. The primary source of funding for Good Sam comes from donations. They're also granted money from the government because of their nonprofit status. When I conducted my interview a couple weeks ago, I interviewed Miss Vicki Bradshaw, who is the volunteer coordinator, and I asked her if these funds were always sufficient, like if they always got what they needed, and she said that God has always provided for them, so they've never faced a situation where they were lacking funding and had to turn people away because they couldn't help them. Some of the preconceptions I had about working at Good Sam was that everyone we help will be homeless. That's not true at all. I didn't realize that they also helped low-income individuals and families in bad situations. I thought that I would work more directly with our clients that we see, but I really work behind the scenes, mostly doing stuff like cleaning up around the warehouse and just doing the little things for the workers. I also thought our clients would be rude and that they wouldn't be appreciative of the work that we do for them, and I thought that they would be bitter towards me because they thought oh, this little girl has everything she's ever wanted, and they just wouldn't think that I could relate to them or that I could understand what they're going through or have empathy for them. Working with Good Sam has definitely made me a more grateful person. I come home and I'm very thankful that I have a home to go home to and that I have food on the table and I've never had to worry about where my next meal will come from. It definitely made me realize how much people struggle in our community. I didn't realize our homeless and low-income population was as great as it was. Working with Good Sam has also shown me that it's really easy to volunteer and get involved in the community. All you have to do is go to places and ask if they need any help, and usually they do. So I think it's really simple to get involved, and I didn't realize that before. I thought that it was a long, hard process. Some things that make Good Sam unique are their ability to work with other organizations. Like I mentioned earlier, Sam Tomlin was very interested in just helping these individuals who needed help, and so he partnered with organizations so that they could best help the clients. Something else that makes Good Sam unique is how much of a family everyone is. Everyone loves each other and is willing to help, and they fight and they argue just like a family, and it's really awesome just to get to be a part of that. They also rely heavily on volunteers, so they constantly are needing help. There's not enough staff to keep the place running, and I think that makes them very unique because they do rely so much on volunteers. The volunteers are what keep the place running. A few of the changes I would make at Good Sam regard the organization of the building. It's very messy, very scattered, things are everywhere. There's a lot of rooms where you walk in and it looks like a tornado came through, and it can be a disaster. I wish a lot more people knew about Good Sam, just like commoners, so that they could come in and help volunteer or give donations if that's what they felt was necessary. not only is the building very unorganized and messy, but it's just old. There's a lot of things that need to be renovated and updated, and it's kind of rough to see the way that the workers have to deal with that and how they cope with it and how they've done their part to make it better, but it's just not good enough. They also really need to hire more staff. A lot of times, if one person can't come in for the day, the whole place is a disaster and a train wreck, and it makes it very hard to deal with the absence of one person, and I think that shouldn't be the case. Another change I would make is about the thrift store publicity. Most people don't even know that the Good Samaritan has a thrift store, and it's called the Heaven Sent Family Outlet. And so I think if there was more publicity about the thrift store, that they could get a lot more business and a lot more donations so that they would have more options for people who want to come shop. And I just think that they're very under-publicized and they don't have the resources that they need. Some of my favorite stories from working at the Good Samaritan are from Valentine's Day, because on Valentine's Day, instead of cleaning up the place like I normally do, I dipped strawberries in chocolate and decorated like chocolate covered strawberries all day long and just prepared a lunch for the workers so that they could have a good Valentine's Day. And it was so fun. We dipped like probably 300 strawberries that day and pretzels and all types of other things, and it was just a really fun experience to get to spend that time in the kitchen with the other workers preparing that for them. Working at the front desk at Good Sam is very hectic. I was dealing directly with clients that day, and because I am just a volunteer, there was a lot of answers that I didn't have, and I felt bad because the people relied on me to get the answers that they were looking for, and I didn't know anything, and people were getting frustrated with me because I didn't have the answers that they were looking for. So that was a disaster, and it made me feel really bad, but through that experience, I did learn a lot more about the organization, because I had to ask all these questions that people were asking me, and so I learned, and then I could do better for the next person who had the same question. It made me feel a lot more involved with Good Sam, just to have all these answers and to know how the place functioned and things like that. My last day of volunteering was a very emotional day because I had really got attached to my coworkers, and it was hard to leave them, and I'm sure I'll be back because I'm gonna miss them like crazy. But the last day that I volunteered, we had a recovering mental health organization come in and volunteer with us. So it was their patients who had suffered from mental illness were coming in to volunteer just to give back to the community, because a lot of them get help from Good Sam. And our volunteer coordinator, Miss Vicky, had to leave a little while for the day, and she put me in charge of these volunteers. And so not only did I have to find things to do for myself, but I had to tell all the other volunteers what to do and where we needed help and what was going on. And so I really enjoyed that because it made me feel better about myself, because I knew well enough what needed to be done that I could tell others what to do. And so it just really made me feel very involved, and it was a good way to finish my rendezvous with the organization. So as an overall experience, I am really thankful for having spent my time volunteering with the Good Samaritan Ministries. It really affected the way I think about pretty much everything. It was awesome to get to work with all the clients who needed help, and I really think it made me mature as a person. And every day I'll be so thankful that I spent my time there, and I really hope to get back. So thank you.